Hello, everybody. Dave Neal here, stand-up comic and host of Bachelor Nation News. Welcome to Bachelor Recap, a guy's review, week 2. I take notes, read them back to you. No edits, no jump cuts, just me, you. Nothing fancy, just 15 minutes of pure bliss, okay? Or 12 minutes, whatever we get to. And I'm going to have more content for you today on Instagram at DNeals. I have stand-up show updates all over Santa Barbara, West Hollywood, San Diego, Hawthorne, so different shows there if you want to come to any of them at DNeals, and also patreon.com/Dave Neal for private behind-the-scenes bonus content. And this afternoon, like every afternoon, I'll have Bachelor Rush Hour, the podcast, and that'll have exclusive, longer-form recap content for you over there. I'll give you a fresh one. And we open up with Zach. He's shirtless in the shower. He's, rubbing that nice hairy chest of his. We still objectify the male leads because I guess we're okay with that. Whatever, you do you. And then Jess tells the ladies, he says, Zach thinks Zach thinks the one is here. And that's like, to me, and all the ladies go, ooh. And to me, that's like when your parents are like, I think I heard Santa Claus on the roof. And your kids are like, ooh. And it's all made up. Spoiler, the show's made up. Santa Claus is made up. Everything's already predetermined. We're just living in a simulation. Okay, group date starts with Lotto. There she is, Lotto, who's looking for some bad sitch energy. We're going to call it sitch, bad sitch energy. And then, I don't know, Zach has his black leather jacket on. As you guys know, the black leather jacket is for first dates. It's the first date leather jacket. It's what you wear when you want to impress somebody. And Zach's trying to impress these ladies and all of us, to be honest. Producers ask, are you a good dancer? And he's like, not at all, but I'll give it a shot. That's what tequila's for, my man. All right, the women have a dance-off, and this would give me a panic. A dance-off would literally drop me into a panic, and then it gets worse from there. Davia says Mercedes was so hot she couldn't keep her eyes off her. And I'm like, Davia, yeah, you're not wrong there. I would take Davia commenting with me any day. Davia's like, that's really amazing. The girl's doing the thing. She's got the arm sleeves. Okay. So it's nice to see when ladies can, I wouldn't say objectify themselves, but it's nice when they can appreciate the feminine beauty. Everyone brought their bad sitch energy here. They do this final challenge where they do the whole thing. Of course, the ladies show up. We already, not much. I mean, we have Courtney and Tajuan and Victoria. It was nice to have them there, and they showed a little clip of them from their past seasons of being a bad situation. But again, we didn't really get much out of them. The Lord's work being done by the buttons on Victoria's dress. They're like, hold on, ladies. Don't snap. All right. And she didn't snap. Both physically or emotionally, which is good. Final challenge, tell Zach the one time you were a baddie. And then they have this really tough public speaking, public dancing. I mean, this was a real rough one for me here. The ladies, there they are strangling him. All right, so Brooklyn did a tequila shot with Zach. That was fun. She was like, I'm a baddie. We'll just do shots of tequila. And I'm like, is a baddie just drinking alcohol? Because I was a baddie in college. And she kissed him in front of everyone. All right, I see you. You know what I mean? But I can't imagine, like, if I were the Bachelor lead, I'd say whatever alcohol you put on that show, water it down, because I'm not trying to get wasted and have to do 7 hours of filming. And the producers are like, that's exactly what we're trying to do. All right, then they have the after party. Tajuan says if Zach told her to join his season, she would. And it's like, yeah, girl, shoot your shot. Go for it. Zach's shooting his shot with just about everyone else over there. So Tajuan's like, yo, what's happening, Zacho? Brianna says it would be special to get a rose since hers came from America and not him. She breaks down in front of Zach, so Brianna's kind of like, well, we're still on Tajuan here, but do I not have a graphic for Brianna? We don't. All right, so Brianna, you remember what Brianna looks like. She breaks down in front of Zach and says if she didn't have America's rose, she doesn't think Zach would keep her there. So then Zach and Brianna kiss, and that answers some questions for her. Or does it? We'll get to that in a minute. Tajuan enters the building, interrupts Zach and Kat. Kat runs to the group and says Tajuan just crashed our party. She's like the Paul Revere, Tajuan's coming. Tajuan says, if you were in my position, you'd go for it too. And it's like, yeah, of course. I mean, why not? You flew all the way to the thing. You got paid to show up. You did your bad sitch energy. And then why not try to get a little bit of that Zach candy? She said there's going to be a loser at the end of the day unless you want participation trophies. Spoiler, the loser becomes Tajuan. Producer says, sometimes bad bitches cry. It's okay. And Tajuan says, I'm not going to cry. Not for this man. Zach pulls Taj aside. The women are furious. And Zach tells her she can't join the group. They didn't air that part. They didn't air the part, probably out of respect for Tajuan. She was probably like, you know what? I'll go in there, But if he dumps me, you cut away. So now Tajuan says she wishes she could have a chance. Zach says, hey, she shot her shot, but it's not fair to the other women. And I'm like, why not? You haven't even talked to some of these women yet. Bring Tajuan on. Or if you don't want her on there, just man up and say it. Zach gives their group date rose to Catherine. She's surprised. She's like, huh, me? He's like, yeah, I don't know. Brianna says it felt like a slap in the face. No, I mean, there's a lot of women here, Brianna. This is where you can't get offended this early on. You know what I mean? I understand some of the women are like, I told them the sob story about how my dad and dog both died in a, on the Titanic or whatever. And, and then he's like, oh, that's very nice. And then he just takes his rose over here, my crochet rose, and then he just gives it to someone else. And you're like, I told you my Titanic story. That's the best story I have. That didn't earn it. It didn't. So back at home, the women discuss Zach's big tongue energy. Of course, the big tongue energy that Zach has, whether or not they use their tongues when they make out. It's good that they're sharing notes because, like, one girl's like, well, I put my tongue down his throat and I got a rose. You licked his ear. You didn't get a rose. So tongue down throat. Keep the tongue in the mouth. My mouth or his. Jess did a tongue swirl and got a rose. I was like, all right, tongue swirl it is. Some people do the tongue punch, you're like a woodpecker, hello, hello. And some people do the swirl. Some lick it, some stick it. A lot of some prick it. There's a lot of things you can do with the tongue. You can lick it, stick it, prick it. You could flick it. I don't know why. You could. Christina gets the one-on-one date, and it says, let's let our love soar. Zach takes Christina on the date, and then they do the helicopter ride. They fly by the mansion to piss everyone off. They do that Top Gun flyby. Everyone's, hair goes off to the side. And now Zach, their fake eyelashes are fluttering. The helicopter's like, bye. And they're like, see you later. And now, Katharine Hepburn. Was that the Katharine Hepburn? Which Hepburn was it? And now, did Katharine Hepburn have fake eyelashes? When did fake eyelashes become, who invented those? The 1960s. They're like, all right, and now we're going to glue fake hair onto our eyeballs. Don't we need our eyeballs to see? Well, more though than needing eyeballs to see, you need to put fake. I mean, imagine the muscles that some of you ladies have to develop to just hold up these, tiled roofs that you have on the top of your lids. All right, so I digress. And now Zach introduces Christina to his parents, family, firefighter buddies, his QAnon uncle. He's like, this guy believes in flat earth. That guy over there says Arizona's election was stolen. One over here is in Antifa. He's got the whole spectrum. Oh, it's not just the right. He's got everyone. That guy rioted in a building in, Des Moines. That guy over there is actually currently lives in the House of Representatives. He overtook it on January 6th. The whole thing, right? They're in Orange County. There's a wide variety of people that come from Orange County. I'm not saying it's good or bad. And now Zach, so he introduces her to all of them. I made all that up. Zach's mom brings out the baby pics. Christina reminds us that she has a kid and hasn't told Zach yet. And on the evening, one-on-one, she tells Zach about her daughter, Blakely, in kindergarten. Zach tells Christina that he thinks it's wonderful she's a mom and it's scary because he has no idea what to do. Yeah, bud, life comes at you fast. 1 second, you're just some no-name engineer hanging out in Texas. And then right after that, is he an engineer? Doesn't matter. All of a sudden, he's a stepdad. So then on the testimonial, Zach says, sometimes you have to be selfish. So maybe his mind changed. He was like, look, I got to take care of me. Am I, ready to be a dad? No. Zach tells her that she deserves to know how he's feeling and he was caught off guard. So I was like, oh, shoot, Zach's about to dump her. This is, going to be a big deal. But then he says he wants to get to know her better and offers her the rose. Now, look, to be quite honest, I don't know many people that would be in Zach's position that would find someone this early on so worthwhile pursuing. And again, I know there's single moms in the crowd. This is what makes it very tough, but it's like, it's less about the single mom. It's not her problem. It's his problem. It's like, can I be a dad? Can I afford to take the kid to T-ball and Little League and get ice cream after? And he's going to be like, but can we go to Six Flags? And you're like, okay, now I got to buy $8 churros. Life comes at you fast. And if you can't afford it, and if you're not there, what are you going to do? That would be they did Lato's big bitch energy party. They should have big stepdad energy, and it should just be him dating all moms. Okay. And he's like, okay, you ready to hang out in the bouncy ball house for 10 hours? Ariel asks Zach to write down their biggest fears on their group date. She says hers is to not be kissed tonight, which is great because he's like, let's knock that fear off right now. He's like, you got a fear of fantasy suites? We'll take care of that too. Zach shares that he was born with a disease, wasn't supposed to live. Jess says, thanks for opening up to me. And then they make out. So that's kind of nice. He's making out with everybody over here. Gabby says today is make or break for her. She hasn't had a convo with him yet, which is interesting because Gabby's a beautiful young lady over here. And for whatever reason, there's a lot of women in the house. It's only the second episode. Meanwhile, all the other women, they're like explaining all the amazing things. Like, Zach told me he thought I was lovely. Zach did this. Zach kissed me. Zach brushed my shoulder. Zach tried to go up my sleeves. Whatever. I don't know. And then Gabby's like, I haven't even gotten a hello. I haven't gotten a nice hello from Zach. Gabby says the anticipation is making her frustrated. And I'm like, me too, Gabby. Me too. So they have insane chemistry during their first convo. She's got the dimples. I think they had a good little vibe happening. I know she looks like she's a D'Amelio sister, but she also kind of has Becca Kufrin energy, which, and again, I mean this so respectfully, is kind of like a unconventionally good looking, and that's almost disrespect to Becca Kufrin because she's beautiful, but these aren't the Christina Mandrells, and by that I mean a busty blonde that walks out, which is also perfectly good looking. Everyone's good looking, okay? I'm not disparaging anybody, but Gabby's kind of like a sleeper good looking. She's like, oh, I look good, but I'm not as flashy, and they have insane chemistry. But then all the other girls talk about their kiss, and she's like, why hasn't he kissed me? And it's like, Gabby, you need to come up with a gimmick. So then the group date rose goes to my girl Jess. Remember her shimmering sparkles from night one, and she was the one who was like contemplating how she makes out with him, which is fun. It's just fun to see women talk, people in general talk like this, because it's like, everyone can be as confident as possible, but in the end it's like, are you a fit for Zach? And only one will be, most likely. As the night wraps up, Gabby shows her frustration and says there is no validation from him and she feels worthless. So then we cut to the cocktail party right here. Zach chats with Gabby to see how she feels. Gabby says it feels like they are behind. He's like, I'll get behind you. Zach, metaphorically, Zach tells her he gets butterflies in his stomach with her. Gabby says she knows Zach likes peanut butter cups, so brought some. They ate them Lady and the Tramp style. This moment was emotional for me. I liked this. I got teary-eyed because I was like, oh, this is cute. She was kind of like the last to the party, the last to kiss Zach. The last to kiss Zach, first to get COVID. I think that's how it works here with my communicable diseases. All right, Zach, is Zach a communicable disease? He is on this show. The CDC is like, be careful. Zach here is, he is in a high contact location, if you will. So give him a booster. He'll give you that booster, that big booster. He'll give you the old Pfizer and the fantasy. Okay, you want to see his Johnson & Johnson? Come on, folks. It's a family show. Brianna decides to chat with Christina. I'll hit your Moderna. All right. Okay. And she, okay, hold on. Brianna decides to chat with Christina. Do we have this image here? And then when Brianna goes to talk to Christina, there they are, instant replay. So Brianna didn't like the way that Christina talked to her. I'm going to cover this extensively on the Bachelor, my long form version of this on the Bachelor Rush Hour podcast, link in the comment section. She didn't like the way Christina talked to her. Brianna was upset that Christina said, I hate you, JK. Doesn't she know what JK means? I mean, just kidding. And Christina comes in with a great apology. But then Christina's like, I am so immediately sorry. Christina didn't make excuses. She just apologized. That Brianna says in order to become friends, she needs to see action. I'm like, action? She just apologized out of her mouth. What do you want her to like build you a bear you can hug every night, like one of those stuffable mall bears? I don't know, a Build-A-Bear, Build-A-Berg. I feel like Brianna is doing really well and needs to play it cool. Otherwise, it brings drama if she uses her time with Zach to complain. And of course, that's exactly what she's about to do. I literally wrote that and I was like, all right, here she comes. Brianna says to Zach, do you want to know who I have a problem with? Zach says, no, I don't want to. He says, if you have already handled it, don't tell me. And then Brianna continues to provide play-by-play for Zach, which ultimately has nothing to do with Zach, and he de-escalates. But then Zach calls her out. I'm surprised. Gotta love Zach here. Calls her out. He's like, our conversations aren't fun. It feels serious. He's like, it's week 2. Brianna needs a girlfriend there to say, play it cool, you're doing well. That's what she needs. She needs someone to be like, chill out, complain to me, don't complain to Zach. Zach is in HR, okay? Zach's the CEO. So no rose for Victoria, Kat, or Kimberly. Good luck to them out there. The season goes on. We'll have more content all day long coming your way right after this. If you want to see some bonus content, I've got my wedding video reaction. So me watching my wedding video, which was just posted yesterday, and that's on the Patreon. You can go check that out and see if you want to see what my dance moves look like. Spoiler, I hit the flow. Where I come from, you got to hit the flow. Shorty got to get low, okay? We'll be right back after this.